I don't even know what to do here. My studio is too small for this. I don't know how to handle this. They've done it. Adidas has done it. They've completely maxed out my studio to a point where I have to film the entire thing, so you guys get a nice behind the scenes look at this tiny bedroom that I call a studio. So this package came in the mail today with no explanation, with no warning, and this is by far the biggest package that I've ever unboxed on this channel, or any channel for that matter. And I don't really know how to handle this because if you look at the view from the top camera, I mean, you don't really see anything. And it's like the widest angle lens I have. I'm just gonna come around front because I know my face isn't in focus. Oh, now there's no light. Hold up. There we go. So this package is a giant package from Adidas. I don't know what it is. I know that it's 50 pounds though, because the UPS driver told me pretty angrily at that. The mic isn't even in the right spot, so there we go. So moving forward, every box that I get from him may be crushed, but you know what, it's all good. So the only indicator as to what's inside this box is the Adidas logo, Home of Classics, and then some text down there that I read and it kind of makes sense, but I feel like it's a clue as to what's inside, and I'm not gonna be able to figure it out. And honestly, I'd rather just open it up and see what's inside. So why don't we do that? Let's see. First things first, some Boost styrofoam, and then we've got what looks like a giant Adidas box in bubble wrap. So I don't know how I'm gonna get that out of this box. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is one of these. Now let's take off this bubble wrap, I guess. Easier said than done. We're gonna try and get this junk out from underneath it somehow. What was that? Oh my god! Rid of this somehow. Okay. I don't know what. Oh shoot. There we go. Okay. Let's see what's on the front of this box. Home of Classics. Very nice. We've got the Adidas logo on top. How does this open? Oh, it's got magnets. Nice. What do we got? What? Did Adidas just send me 9 pairs of shoes? I think Adidas just sent me 9 pairs of shoes. What? The contents of this box are just parts of our legacy. 50 years of history means 50 years of stories. A few from us, millions from you, but still more to come. That's why we're giving you these 9 sneakers. It's 9 sneakers. It's actually 9 sneakers. Blank slates for you to play in, paint in, love in, skate in, live in, just like people have done for decades, and you'll do it in totally new ways. These sneakers are about the time you landed your first gig or your first kickflip or on your face. Shoes made with care, but worn without. They sent me 9 sneakers. You guys are absolutely nuts. Thank you, Adidas. This is crazy. Let's see. Oh, nice. Is this a little booklet about all the shoes that are in here? Home of Classics. Very nice. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do in order to make this video more watchable is get rid of all of the extra crap in this room and redo my setup really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, now I've got everything pretty much reset up. It's kind of a weird situation for the studio because I never really have packages this large, and the studio is like, I mean, it's like 7 by 9. There are 9 brand new Adidas shoes in this box, which is absolutely insane. And I decided to use this poster, or I guess booklet or whatever it is, as like a guide to what each shoe is because I'm not familiar with all of these. So why don't we start from the top and just work our way down. The first shoe out of the box is the Stan Smith's Classic. I guess they're all classics because this is called the Home of Classics box. So, okay, maybe they're all classics. This is not your standard Stan Smith. This is like a really nice premium leather Stan Smith. This is crazy. Oh, that's kind of interesting. You've got the sizes on the outside of the tongue, which I've never seen before, which I think is a pretty nice touch. This is super clean. Wow. The leather quality on this shoe is nuts. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And the nice thing about nicer leather is that when you actually wear it in, it looks better the more you wear it. It's not like cheap leather where when you wear it, it creases really weird and it feels really plasticky. This is genuinely nice leather. I don't know like how nice on the scale of leather, like from designer bags down to like, you know, $5 sneakers, but I'm assuming it's somewhere like in the higher middle, I would guess. I'm not a leather expert, but based on what I've seen from a lot of other sneakers that I've unboxed, this is pretty solid. So according to Adidas, the Stan Smith is the first leather tennis shoe, which I never knew. That's kind of crazy. Back in the 60s, we weren't allowed to wear stripes on the court. That's why we made them with perforations. Simple, just like the shoe. That makes sense. Okay, so that's why there's perforations on the side of the shoe instead of 3 stripes. That makes a lot of sense. I've always wondered. I always just thought these were ventilation holes in the shape of the 3 stripes, just as a cool sort of branding detail. I didn't realize that that's actually the main branding on the shoe, and now that I'm seeing that, I think I like these even more. No way. Even the insole of the shoe is leather. That's crazy. Thank you, Adidas. This is sick. If they just sent me this shoe, I'd be happy. I'd be totally fine. It's also got sort of an off-white or a cream white outsole, and it has like a really great leather smell. It has like a dress shoe smell. It smells like Nordstrom's, like the shoe section of Nordstrom's. I've only been in there once when I was a kid, but that smell stuck with me. So these are the Nordstrom Classics. Probably not available in Nordstrom's, unfortunately, but very clean shoe. This is such a clean shoe. I'm gonna throw these on right after this video too. I'm stoked on these. I've actually got somewhere to go after this, so I'm gonna look classy. Perfect. I'm gonna throw these under the table for now. Next up is the Super Court. Whoa. I might actually like these more than the Stan Smiths. These are sick. These remind me a lot of the Alexander Wang collection that came out a little while ago. Like, these look like the Alexander Wang Adidas BBs. Or basketballs, or whatever they're called. I think they're the BBs. These aren't messing around. These are serious shoes. I really like that traction pattern too. I don't know how well this would work on the court, and obviously these aren't court shoes. Actually, what are they called? Super court. Maybe they are court shoes. I don't know if I'd ever play ball in these though, or maybe they're tennis court shoes. I'm not totally sure, but the leather on these too almost feels nicer than the Stan Smiths. Like, it's even more plush. It's even more tumbled. It's really, really nice. I also really like the paneling on the upper of the shoe. It really does remind me of those Alexander Wangs. Let me find out a little bit more about them. The Super Court marks the youngest shoe in a line of classics, a sneaker for a new generation that takes inspiration from the past to create the future. So the Super Court are a modern take on classic Adidas silhouettes, and I think they turned out great. These are awesome. The next one is the SC Premier. Very nice. I'm consistently blown away by the feel of this leather. It feels just so soft. I love it. So the SC Premier is inspired by the tennis archive and reinvented for today's streets. So this is another one of those modern sneakers that's inspired by some of their classic tennis sneakers. And it's a really clean look. Again, it kind of has that sort of designer look to it because a lot of the sort of wavy paneling going on in the upper. I also like this sort of I guess inset Adidas logo that's debossed into the leather. That's a really cool detail, and it reminds me a lot of the Continental 80, which I actually think, yep, it's in the box. Excited about those. I'm really stoked on those, actually. Also, this midsole is super interesting. It's like one smooth, clean, just flat surface, and then you've got the outsole, which is all herringbone. This is a nice looking shoe. I'm actually blown away by these shoes. I've never heard of the Super Court or the SC Premier, but now that I'm seeing them in person, I think they're really clean, just nice looking shoes, and I'm stoked to rock these. So, very cool. Thank you, Adidas, for these. These are sick. Also, I forgot to mention that all the shoes that I've checked so far have like really nice soft ankle areas, and they all have leather sock liners. So they're all like super premium feeling, and they all probably are very comfortable. So I'll have to try all these guys on. Maybe I'll do a video like wearing 9 brand new shoes for 9 different days or something like that. I don't know. Ooh, next up is the Continental 80. I am stoked for these. I've never actually owned a pair of Continental 80s, and you guys were asking me and asked me to review them, and I just didn't. I don't know why. That was stupid of me not to. I don't know if I'll review them, but I'm really stoked on how they feel in hand. These are sick. The leather quality of this Home of Classics collection is just so much nicer than the standard shoes. Like, it's really next level. Like I mentioned, the Continental 80 has that inset logo right there. You've still got the sizes on the front of the tongue, which I think every shoe in this collection has. It's an interesting detail. Of course, you've still got that off-white or cream-colored outsole. Nice look there. I wouldn't have minded if they had made the accent stripe on the side of the Continental 80s like a different color, or maybe like a cream or something like that, just to make it stand out, because that's my favorite part of the Continental 80s, is that accent stripe. So it is what it is. I still think it's a great looking shoe, and I'm super stoked to finally have a pair of Continental 80s. So the Continental 80 was designed in France in 1986. The Continental 80 mixes up the usual court sneaker with double cup sole and window label. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It looks like they painted on the Adidas logo in white on the back of the shoe on top of the white leather, just so it stands out that little bit more. Next up, we've got the AR Trainer, another shoe that I'm not totally familiar with. This has some 90s vibes to it. I like this a lot. I also like the stitching details on the toe. That's not something you see too often anymore, and I really like that. It's got the 3 stripes and leather panels on the side, and then each stripe is actually bisected by some paint, so half of it's painted, half of it's not. This actually looks a lot like a Samba or like a soccer shoe or something like that. Let me read the pamphlet to see what it is. The AR Trainer, born out of pure love for our 80s tennis archive. AR Trainer's tip stripes and exposed EVA wedge rethink a classic court shoe. So I was wrong about the 90s styling, it's from the 80s, and I was wrong about the soccer inspiration, it's inspired by tennis. So all around wrong, but I still think it's a nice look, and I still really like the paneling on the side. I think that's sick. And once again, you've got the Adidas logo on the back, also painted in white. We've got the Torsion Comp. Another shoe I haven't seen before. This is kind of nuts because it's got this rubber texture on the side. If you look at the 3 stripes and then also this line right here, they're all rubber or some sort of, yeah, I think that's rubber actually. So based on the last shoe, I'm gonna venture a guess. These are from the 80s or inspired by the 80s, and they're inspired by tennis. I would guess, I would think. The Torsion Comp is an authentic reissue from Stefan Edberg's collection in the 90s. Torsion is a retro look for modern times with an EVA sole and original torsion bar. Dance, skate, do flips, do whatever in them. Cool. So it's a skate shoe. 0 for 2 on the guess, but a cool shoe nonetheless. The upper of this shoe is really, really well padded. I would guess because it's a skate shoe it should be, and also the toe feels super durable, which again, as a skate shoe, you'd probably want some durability around the toe so you could really beat it up and do kick flips and things like that and not rip out the toes of your sneakers. As the name would suggest, you've got your torsion bar right there in the midfoot. Very nice, and your off-white or cream outsole. So this is definitely one of the more chunky or beefy shoes out of this collection, and it makes sense if it's a skate shoe. You know, you want something with more body and more like oomph to it. That's an awful way to describe a shoe, but that's how I'm doing it. Actually, surprisingly, no Adidas branding on the back, but you've got some on the outsole, you've got some obviously on the sides of the shoe as well. Overall, a clean shoe. Definitely a clean shoe. Ooh, I'm excited for that one. I'm gonna save it for last. I'm actually gonna start with the Niza High RF. Oh, whoa, okay. This shoe definitely has a lifestyle vibe to it, or maybe like a, you know, a 60s basketball shoe vibe to it. I like it a lot. There's not really too much support in the upper, which I think a lot of people do like, and it's got this sort of canvas interior or sock liner, but the outside is all really nice, thin, tumbled leather. So it's got this sort of semi-translucent, milky outsole, which is a nice touch, and then what seems to be a vulcanized midsole. The laces are also tied together too. Let me undo these so we can look at the shoes separately. Again, you've got your size on the tongue, and again, the shoe smells incredible. It smells like really nice premium leather, and I love it. I think this is a really clean looking shoe. This is definitely something I would rock, maybe not with shorts. You've got some rubber reinforcement around the toe cap. You've got the Adidas 3 stripes stitched into the midfoot. So the Niza High RF was born on the hardwood, makes sense, basketball sneaker, adopted by skaters, and now worn by everyone. It's a dope shoe. I like it a lot. It's definitely one of the simpler, more minimal sneakers in the box. Next is the Rivalry Low. This shoe has got some chunk to it. This is like a really chunky, like Samba or a Power Phase or something like that. Of course, you've still got that leather insole and that leather sock liner. Very nice. A very thin tongue as well. It's like 2 pieces of tumbled leather glued together. 3 stripes on the side and some nice leather paneling. Of course, perforation holes on the toe. You've also got this really interesting sort of double eyelet at the top of the shoe, which I've never seen done like that before. That's a cool detail. The Rivalry Low was built tough and durable for the physical style of basketball in the 80s. That makes sense. Okay, I know what the shoe is now. It's the Rivalry High is the one that I'm familiar with, but I've never seen the Rivalry Low before. This is a nice look. From intimidating on the court to giving lip when worn with the tongue out by skaters, punks, and artists, the modern low-top version of a classic. This is a dope shoe. I love it. And finally, we've got a classic, the Superstar 80s, the shell toes. Now I've got a confession to make. I've never actually owned a pair of shell toes before, so this is actually a first for me. This is like a monumental moment. These, of course, are the Adidas Superstar 80s with the shell toe. This is like as classic as it gets. This is an icon. This is literally the classic of the classics. What's this collection called? Home of Classics. This is, if this is the home of the classics, this is like the cool grandpa that lives in the basement. That's a weird analogy. Maybe the older brother from like a different marriage who is like in a band or something like that. That's what this is. Of course, you've got your 3 stripes in leather, and then in between each of the stripes, you've got perforations for breathability. You've got your cream or off-white shell toe that matches the midsole and outsole of the sneaker. You've got your Adidas Superstar branding debossed into the lateral side. You've got your leather sock liner, you've got your leather insole, and of course you've got your sizing on the outside of the tongue. The Superstar 80s are a basketball shoe turned cultural phenomenon. The Superstar 80 lives up to its name. 3 stripes stabilize the shoe, the shell toe adds durability, Probably unrippable, but we encourage you to try finding out. This is it, man. The Superstar 80 is it. Out of everything in the box, I would say that this one is probably the most popular. Maybe the Stan Smiths, but I think this guy takes the cake. So let me pull out my favorites. I'll pick like 4. Stan Smiths, obviously. You've got the Super Courts, the Modern Classic. You know what? I think I'm gonna go for the chunky boys, the Rivalry Lows. I really love basketball shoes, and I love the rivalries, so this is cool to see. A low top version, I dig it. So these are my 4 favorites. You've got the Stan Smiths, you've got the Superstar 80s, you've got the Super Courts, and of course the Rivalry Lows. All great shoes. Actually, all 9 of these sneakers are great. They're all super easy to wear. Comfort-wise, I'm not totally sure which one would be the most comfortable. I would assume something that's a little bit bulkier. Like, I honestly think that the Super Court might be the most comfortable because it seems to be the softest on the upper. It's got a nice chunky midsole. I don't know. I'll have to try them all on to find out. But man, these are sick. Thank you so much, Adidas. This is literally almost too much. You guys are crazy. Also, my studio smells like leather right now. This is actually kind of awesome. I dig it. Would it be weird if I got a car freshener for this room that smells like leather? Yeah, it'd be weird. So this is the home of Classics collection by Adidas. It's extremely well put together. The leather quality on each one of these shoes is excellent, gotta say. The color blocking, of course, is nice because it's all white and very clean. And the whole idea behind this summer collection is to actually go out, wear these shoes, and just beat them up. That's the whole idea behind this collection, which I think is an awesome concept. So I'm personally really excited about wearing all these shoes. Maybe I'll do a video on like wearing a brand new pair of sneakers each day and just beating the crap out of them. We'll see what happens. But I can't thank Adidas enough for this. This is absolutely insane. Thank you guys so much for sending this over. The love you guys show me is crazy. If you want to grab any of the shoes from this collection, they drop on June 1st, which I actually believe is the day that this video is dropping. So check out adidas.com or your Adidas store if you want to grab any of these guys. Twice. I would love to know your thoughts on the Home of Classics collection and which one of these shoes you like the best, so make sure to leave those comments in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.